determination on those Uruguayan faces. Those players under a bit of pressure here. Now the Bolivian anthem.
Y hace solo su servil condición al estruendo marcial que hay fuera, al clamor de la guerra. Siguen hoy en contraste armonioso, luces signos de paz.
I don't think the Bolivian players will be winning their country's version of the X Factor, but I think there's plenty of passion. They did okay in that opening game against the host Venezuela. A lot of people thought they were for the chop there, but they might even have won it, having come from behind twice to get a draw.
Well, I saw that game and I was very impressed with them. They were the underdogs, but what they didn't do, they never gave up. They got a belief there that they could get back into the game, and they got back into the game. The key figure in that particular game was Mojica. The boy in midfield, he was terrific. They get him on the ball, he was creating all sorts of problems, very creative. And you've got Moreno, who played very well, led the line well up front, and alongside him, Marseille did particularly well in the second half and got the equaliser. So there's a belief, there's an enjoyment of them out there, and don't be surprised to see them taking the game to Uruguay.
Yes, they're ranked number 91 by FIFA, the lowest of all the South American nations going into this, but there's a bit more of an upbeat mood about them now, a little more belief. And Uruguay, well, their confidence will have been dented by what happened the other night. The result hurt us, said the coach, Tabarez, and we hope that we'll show you the real Uruguay tonight. Well, let's see. Lugano, the tough man at the back for Uruguay, who's their skipper, and Peña there, who plays for Villarreal in Spain, winning his 80th cap tonight for Bolivia.
You talk about Uruguay, the talking has got to stop. The coach can say all he likes, the players out there have got to go and produce, because they didn't against Peru. Big expectations, didn't happen for them, and if they lose this, big trouble.
Baldomero Toledo is the referee here at a rainy San Cristobal. We're very close here to the longest highway in the world, but where is the road leading for Uruguay and Bolivia? As this tournament, which has already provided some sparkling entertainment, I think you'll agree. I think we're averaging something like 4 goals a game in this fiesta already, and you wonder just where it's going to go. Terrific to see Argentina with their full-strength squad here really turning it on.
It's the quality of the finishing that's been overwhelming for me. Absolutely fantastic. The technique has been spot on. It's been a pleasure to watch, and every game has had something in it, and who's to say this one won't?
Last-minute check, as ever, on the nets. Make sure the ball doesn't come out the other side. These things have to be done, you know. Surface looking great, and so far this tournament in Venezuela, staging the Copa America for the first time, is proving to be something of a success. I must say, I was stunned watching that the other night, the way that Peru took Uruguay apart a bit.
Well, did they not take it seriously enough? Being the favourites going into it, maybe a little bit of complacency by Uruguay. It certainly won't be tonight.
And goal difference is a factor. I mean, they've now got a -3 goal difference in this group. Although 2 of the third-place teams will go through to the quarter-finals, that may be a fallback. and certainly the damage is not beyond repair. Unseasonal conditions here. The rain, you can hear it pitter-pattering on the various effects microphones around the stadium. If you're wondering what all that rustling is, of course there's the wait to make sure that everybody's on song. Everybody's reading from the same hymn sheet. Chronologically, this tournament being beamed around the world to various broadcasters, including Sky Sports, of course. And when everybody's ready, we'll get underway here. Not easy for the players hanging around here in the cold and the rain, but now we are underway. Bolivia, if you need the identification, in their traditional green strip, and Uruguay, the Celeste, as they're known, in their sky blue. There's Diego Forlan, who's just been transferred, by the way, to Atletico Madrid. And he, it looks like, will be the replacement for Fernando Torres, who seems to be on his way to Liverpool.
Well, he's certainly proved a point since he left Manchester United. That is a fact, Diego Forlan.
And with the bookmakers, he's favourite to score the first goal in this match.
That's possibly the only thing I've got in common with Diego Forlan, the fact that we both had a nightmare at Manchester United.
You're too self-deprecating about all that, Gary. Mind you, he did score twice at Anfield, didn't he? To make himself a bit of a cult figure with the United fans. They seem to love him anyway. And certainly a success at Villarreal since then. But on his way now to Atletico Madrid. Here's Lugano. He's hit very, very long, too straight, really, to cause any damage.
Well, with the weather as it is now, you can't play long balls. You have to play it to feet. It's going to skid off the surface. We've seen Bolivia play one long ball. No, Uruguay, it's not the way to go. They've got quality players who can play through midfield, get it in wide areas.
Bolivia, by the way, have never been beyond the first round or won a game since 1997, when they were the host nation. And in that year, they reached the final at home. Free kick coming up here. The player down is the man who impressed Gary so much in that first game, Mujica.
Well, I think they've spotted that early on, Uruguay. He's the man to stop.
Forlan laying it back to Garcia. Watch for him in midfield, all left foot, but it's a sweet left foot. Reyes trying to play the ball round the corner. This surface looks a little bit tricky, a lot different from anything they've played on so far in the tournament.
Well, the ball seems to be pulling up when players are passing it, which is a bit of a surprise. You need a lot of water on a pitch for that to happen.
Alvarez gets it away for Bolivia, who finished bottom of all the nations in the long World Cup qualification process in South America last time. In fact, they were relying quite a bit on some of their old soldiers from 1994 when they got to the World Cup finals, but there are players now starting to stick their heads above the parapet.
We're seeing early in this game, understandably so, his players trying to get the footing, get the balance right. That's why a lot of long balls are being knocked forward. Nobody wants to make a mistake in these conditions.
Dario Rodriguez, there are two Rodriguez's in the side tonight. And the ball is dead. Just offside by the look of things. Vicente Sanchez, the player who just drifted offside. He was taken off early in the game the other night against Peru, but retains his place here. 3 changes by Uruguay. He's wielded the axe a bit, hasn't he, Tavares?
Well, no surprise there. Maybe thought attitudes weren't particularly good from some players coming into this game, thinking, oh, we're just going to routine, it's going to be an easy victory for us. Big wake-up call, and now they've got to be positive, they've got to take the game to Bolivia.
And it looks, doesn't it, as if Sanchez is playing up there alongside Forlan, and maybe the traditional 4-3-3 that Uruguay like to use has been abandoned for this one.
Well, it clearly didn't work for them, it has been, but against Bolivia. They may feel it's a better system to play. I'm sure we'll see Rodriguez giving them more of a free role.
Alvarez spreading the play to the right-hand side. It's cut out by Pablo Garcia, who plays for Celta Vigo, who've just been relegated from La Liga in Spain.
It's a bit high, a bit dangerous.
Perez going down. The thing that struck me the other night about Uruguay's play was there's no real tempo about it. They just lacked a bit of pace. I know they've got some up front with Forlan if they can get him used, but look at this.
Well, that tells me when a ball's played like that, the man on the ball had very little options in front of him. Are people afraid? Are people hiding because of that result? Are players playing with fear? It's easy to do when you've just been on the end of a 3-0 hammering. But you have to be brave, you have to want the ball.
Uruguay certainly can't afford another slip-up in this tournament. Remember, they didn't qualify for the World Cup finals, beaten in that playoff against Australia. And I don't think the fans would take too kindly to them coming home early from this.
I'm not surprised. They have the players capable of doing much better than they've done in the first game. The Uruguay fans know that.
This is Peña, played against Arsenal in that Champions League semi-final in his Villarreal career. Perez wins the ball back for Uruguay. Yeah, maybe there was a little complacency about them going in with that Peru game. Sanchez trying to get through the middle there.
Well, there were disappointing performances from key players in the Uruguay side. Impact players who didn't perform.
The straggly head Christian Rodriguez is being deployed wide on the left. He's got plenty of pace and trickery and danger about him if he can become an influence on this game.
Yeah, and he can float across the other flank as well. That's where he's dangerous. Difficult to pick him up when he's doing that.
Reyes. Mojica lays it back. We do have all the time the in-form Jaime Moreno to aim at. He was not credited with that goal, the first goal Bolivia scored the other night. That definitely was an own goal, but he was certainly the architect of the trouble.
Yeah, he was very, very experienced on the night. He was dropping short, he was dragging defenders out of positions. He was intelligent with his runs, right on the shoulder of the centre half, and everything came through him until he went off. Then I'll say he stepped up to the plate.
Valdez to Peña. Owen Sanchez is the man who was a bit surprisingly given the coach's job for Bolivia. But they won't be too displeased with that first result. A bit of wind out there as well affecting conditions, and as you can see, a soggy, slow surface which doesn't really aid slick passing. Hoyos gets it down the line. This is Arce, who scored the equaliser the other night. Can he keep that in play? No, I think it just went out, didn't it, Gary?
He did. The assistant right on the spot there. Big smile on his face. First thing in his mind to turn, take defenders on. But what you will see from Bolivia, you'll see them try to play it through midfield. They're not frightened of doing that.
Of course, what Uruguay need to do is engineer chances for the predatory Forlan. That one's beaten him in the air. Picked up by Christian Rodriguez, then Sanchez picking it up now for Uruguay. Back into the middle for, well, the strikers were chasing it, but just too far ahead, but that was better.
It was. I'd like to have seen Forlan just hold on to that there. He got a bit of space for himself, a bit of time. Just try to put one straight across the face of the goal. First touch, then take a defender on. You're in the penalty box, you can't be touched. Slippery pitch. Test the defender you're playing against.
Rodriguez to Forlan. Now Pablo Garcia. Scotty. And then Lugano, who was voted the other year as the best defender in South America. Lugano, the Uruguayan skipper.
He's going to start living up to that accolade.
And Diogo got the bounce in his favour, but it's come back for Bolivia. Vaca. Needed the ball forward, but it's well cut out by Scotty, who's been drafted into the side today. He's more experienced, or older anyway, at 31 than the youngster Godin, who's lost his place after the 3 goals conceded against Peru. Christian Rodriguez trying to line up a shot. Was he caught there? Looked like it. Yep, free kick.
Well, there you see him again. He's drifting inside. Difficult to pick up. Direct. Little nudge in the back. Clear foul. Good refereeing. On the whole, the refereeing has been very good in this tournament so far. I think they've stamped out diving. They've not been given many things for theatrical dives, which is fabulous to see, because it's just one of the worst things in the game. We know that.
Well, they need a break from somewhere. Garcia and Forlan deep in conversation. What they would give for one here. Diego Forlan, and it's a very disappointing free kick in truth. Diogo chipping it forward, cut out by the skipper Peña. Here's Alvarez, the left back for Bolivia. Very, very rare for Bolivia to win outside their high-altitude base at La Paz, but FIFA are now threatening to say that Bolivia cannot play there because it's too much of a disadvantage for the opposition. I tell you what, it would be a heck of a disadvantage for Bolivia if they were refused games there. They very, very rarely went away from there. There's some bright football here. Vaca to Moreno on this side. Alvarez from a long way, and a long way wide too.
Nothing wrong with having a go from there. So the surface is slippery. Try and test the goalkeeper out early on. It's a long, long way out. Poor effort. That's why he's a fullback. But how can you choose where you're born? You can only play for your country, well, where you're born.
Well, I think what they might say to Bolivia is, yeah, of course you're going to play at home, but not at that high altitude, somewhere else in the country. But I think that one, there might be a fair bit of discussion yet before it becomes set in concrete. Bolivian FA, of course, are protesting. FIFA not giving way as things stand.
There's clumsy fouls early on, isn't there? Stopping the tempo of the game.
It's Pereira who went down. Christian Rodriguez to take. There are 2 Rodriguez's, just to confuse you, in the Uruguayan side. The other one's Dario at left back. Good curl on that one. And it was Lugano, the skipper, who'd come forward from the back. He got his head to it.
He'll be disappointed in that. Just needed a little flick. Just got too much on it. Decent ball in. Attacks it well. Just needed a little touch and just came off the top of his head and harmlessly over.
We've got another free kick here. They're giving a lot of these away around the edge of the box here, Gary.
That's what they're looking for, the probing. Again, it's a bit of a rash challenge. Sliding in, just stay on your feet in these conditions. If you get it wrong in the box, you're in big trouble.
It's the second time Pereira, who's come into the side today, has hit the turf. His teammates won't mind too much about that because it's given Uruguay a free kick and a promising area. Vicente Sanchez lining this one up. It's certainly set up for a left footer, but again, it never looked like getting past the wall.
The ball ended up about 5 yards away there.
Here's Sanchez again. That was a bit neater from him.
It's more like Uruguay. Get it wide, get the quality in there. A little bit of a push there, but nobody attacked it at the far post. Surprising by Uruguay. They know they have to be positive and get in a good area, put a decent ball in. There aren't enough players in the box to make it count.
I think Vicente Sanchez is looking far more at home playing alongside Forlan than being stuck out on the left as he was the other night.
Without a doubt. Got to get the partnership going. We've got to play close together as good strikers do.
Valdez. This is the part of the Copa America where the groups start to really take shape. Second game for both of these two. Later the host Venezuela in action against Peru. And you won't miss a kick here on Sky Sports, of course. Dario Rodriguez to Christian Rodriguez. Vaca's little ball around the corner. Here he is again, being the playmaker for Bolivia. He's playing in that role just behind the strikers, Vaca. Pereira. Diogo. Pereira again. They need a goal, don't they, just to settle themselves, Uruguay.
They do, and they've just upped the tempo a little in the last 5 minutes. Half a yard quicker, settling into the conditions, just paying the opposition respect, which they probably didn't do against Peru.
Mojica. Christian Rodriguez showing the high work ethic on view with Uruguay, getting all the way back to the edge of his own penalty area to defend.
It certainly doesn't look a pitch to be running with the ball. It just seems to be stopping a little bit. It needs to be pass and move it quickly. 1 and 2 touches.
I don't know what the Spanish for riot act is, but I think they've had it read to them, these Uruguayan players, over the last day or two.
Well, we talk about shocks, and there's been a couple so far, and it was a bit surprised. The margin was so heavy.
Reyes. Here's Pena, who's solid back there, good talker, experienced, and very much the leader of the Bolivian troops out there. Garcia laying it back. Uruguay unbeaten in the last 5 meetings between these two countries, and in that time they haven't conceded a goal. That's a record that goes back for a decade now, since Bolivia beat Uruguay 1-0 in a World Cup qualifier in La Paz. There it is again in 1997.
What they lacked against Venezuela in the first game, Bolivia, was just that cutting edge further forward, a bit of a spark.
Christian Rodriguez. Diogo. Suddenly looking a bit brighter and businesslike tonight, Uruguay. Moreno trying to make a run down this. Oh, he's taken out of it. That might be a yellow card. Yeah, it's going to be, isn't it? It had to be.
Without a doubt. Did Moreno do well there? Took responsibility, burst forward, used his pace when he could there. I think that was his frustration for giving the ball away earlier. Probably a bit of ability there. Strides away, a lot of purpose, and just drags him down. That's poor.
He must have thought he was doing the 110 metres hurdles for a moment there. I think Moreno down that left-hand touchline. yellow card, Diogo. Mourinho was just a kid. I remember him being in the Bolivian squad at the 1994 World Cup in the USA, and now he's a veteran of 70-odd caps. Doing very well in Major League Soccer in the United States. Much better than he ever did at Middlesbrough.
Apparently taking it by storm. A little bit easier than the Premiership.
Joselito Vaca, who plays for the exotically named Blooming Club. No threat, really.
Oh, it's playing awful, isn't it, really? Really, mate. Expect better than that. One chance to put them under pressure, and look where it goes. Nowhere near a green shirt.
Gary, the longer it stays at 0-0, the more Bolivia's confidence grows, yeah?
Of course it does. They'd have been expecting, I think, Uruguay to come at them more than they have. They've not really created a lot. They've been a little bit direct. Don't seem to have the belief to want to play it through midfield and get it wide. And at the moment, Bolivia coping with it quite comfortably.
Mojica. Vaca again, all neatness in that midfield alongside Mojica. This is Hoyos, the right back, who pushes forward when he can on that side. This is Alvarez. Now Moreno. Wanted the free kick, not getting it. Pereira's lost possession. Alvarez gets the cross in. And it comes out to Dario Rodriguez for Uruguay on this side.
It's not the sort of ball Diego Forlan wants.
Moreno, not quite what he intended, perhaps. So they've got some big names to follow, haven't they, these Uruguayan footballers? I think in the first half of the 20th century they could lay claim to be the #1 football nation in the world. They won the World Cup on 2 occasions and the Olympic Games on 2 occasions as well. On the first ever edition of the World Cup, Uruguay famously. Alvarez does well there for Bolivia. You look a rather better side than most people thought going into this.
I think they surprised everybody. I think the coach has got a lot to do with that as well. The way he plays the game, or played the game, he's instilled those beliefs into his players out there, and they look a confident outfit.
Cross came Reyes to cut out the danger. Yeah, they've done terrifically well, really, Uruguay, considering it's a comparatively small country of just 3 million people.
It's all about stages, isn't it? Bolivia, Venezuela will be looking to move up another stage to try and get closer to Uruguay's. Teams like that, Uruguay want to get closer to Brazil and Argentina.
You saw there that Garcia, he's certainly not play acting here. He really did take the boot of Forlan accidentally right on the head like that. Oh,
We could do nothing about that. We've all had that happen to us. Forlan could do nothing about it at all.
I think that is a pass the aspirin moment.
Without a doubt. Oh, not really shot the save yet. Galarza, I'd be surprised about that.
So far so good for Bolivia, but of course the top 2 in each of the 3 groups goes through, with the 2 best third places as well. So effectively only 4 of the 12 teams are going to go out in the group stage of this. You got a pretty good chance of reaching the quarterfinals, certainly if you can notch up a win somewhere along the way, as Peru have already done in this group.
Well, the goal difference, you mentioned it earlier, is going to have a lot to do with that. -3. Of course, Colombia conceded 5 against Paraguay.
is Forlan. Christian Rodriguez tried to find Sanchez, but again the covering was good there. That defence marshalled all the time by Peña.
They're organised, they're very well organised. They don't take chances.
Alvarez. Uruguay, the 14 times winners of the Copa America, same as Argentina. Those two countries lead the way. Brazil have surprisingly only won it 6 times.
Well, the longer it goes with balls like that, straight out into touch, the more frustrated Forlan will get. Sanchez will get. The Uruguay supporters will get frustrated as well. That'll lift Bolivia.
Pablo Garcia. Christian Rodriguez. Look bright over there. He looks the kind of player who might be the catalyst for Uruguay. Plays for Paris Saint-Germain. They call him the Onion. Apparently he makes defenders cry, we're told. That's what we read anyway.
It's not a bad comedian's joke,
I don't know. Somebody thinks these things up. Diogo. Again, the move peters out against the green Bolivian wall. It's going to be a free kick for the challenge by Pablo Garcia, who becomes the second Uruguayan in the book.
The referee didn't loathe to give yellow cards, but again, he's just checked inside him and crudely brings him down.
Classy player, though. Didn't really make any impact in his days with AC Milan or Real Madrid. But he's got a lovely left foot, as Pablo Garcia.
Well, that's premeditated. That's nasty. It's vindictive, that. The referee's exactly right to give him the yellow card. What he was trying to do, protesting his innocence, I don't know there. And it looks like he's in trouble.
Yeah, and it's Ronald Garcia who's down, his namesake, in the Bolivian side, who certainly felt the left foot of Pablo there.
Hate to see cynical tackles like that. And fair play to the referee. He stamped down on a couple we've seen and rightly given yellow cards.
But don't forget, coming up later on, the Copa America continues in this group tonight when Venezuela play Peru. That comes up live for you after this game. We'll have the views as well at half-time of Gus Poyet, the former Uruguayan star, now based in England, alongside Dennis Wise at Leeds United and Ray Wilkins. Goalkeepers are having an easy time here so far.
They certainly are. Must be wet through, fed up, because they've had nothing at all to do.
Might take one moment to change the mood, though. Here's Mojica. Yeah, I think you're right, Gary. They have identified him as a possible source of trouble, Mojica.
Well, he was definitely the one in the first game who was causing all sorts of problems. He was given a lot of time, space to create. He actually had about 3 or 4 shots on the edge of the box and got nowhere near the target.
Ronald Garcia can't continue, and Sacha Lima has come on to take his place in midfield. Plays for a club called Jorge Wilstermann. Lima won a couple of Bolivian titles in his time.
option but to keep giving these free kicks. Look, there's a nudge in the back there, and it's stopping the flow of the game.
Reyes. Hoyos feeds it inside, tries to find Reyes again. Uruguay so far frustrated in their attempts to really get at Bolivia. Arce's run was cut off. Vaca picks it up. Alvarez does well. Moreno dispossessed by Perez. Got it back again though. Very much the talisman up front for the Bolivians, Jaime Moreno. Lima, a bit of a misunderstanding really. They wanted a free kick, Bolivia, they weren't getting it. And Forlan can pick it up for them now. Finds Sanchez. Flag was up.
He looked offside, but he did ever so well in the first instance. Full stretch, laid the ball back for Forlan, and he was. Just as he played it, he's run offside. Didn't need to. He stays onside there. The two centre-halves are so close together. He's got acres of space behind them. Most of the first games in the tournament have been very entertaining. The longer it goes in the group, the tighter you get, and you can see the finishing line. Maybe you do start getting a bit more negative, maybe.
Yeah, but can either of these two see the finishing line yet? I mean, the point's not really good enough for either of them, is it?
You look at Bolivia, looking at the games they had to play, they'd probably have seen this as the hardest game. Maybe losing this one and getting a chance, a point against Venezuela. They maybe feel they can beat Peru. If they get a point here, they might be satisfied with that.
Certainly want to be emerging from this championship with respectability, I think. Bolivia having finished last in the World Cup qualifying group. Uruguay will be shooting higher. Hope to anyway. Picked up by Perez. Finds Diogo. Remember, he's already on a yellow card.
It seems like Bolivia are just looking for progress every tournament they play in, looking to a little bit. Not going to beat world beaters like Brazil or Argentina, but you can learn.
Forlan. And that wasn't the effort of a £14.5 million striker. That's the fee that's taking him to Atletico Madrid.
Well, it's embarrassing. He didn't even go out for a goal kick there. It went out for a throw-in.
Mr. Tavares was too impressed with that one. Second spell in charge. Did take Uruguay to the second round of the World Cup finals in Italy in 1990.
I don't think he'd be pleased at all with what he's seen in this first half. Talk about conditions, you can talk about being windy or whatever. We've still got quality players out there and not producing.
Gabriel Rodriguez with the throw, and Christian Rodriguez trying to knock it on, but again, the work that the goalkeepers have had to do has been minimal and routine. Sad to say. Could change. Plenty on the line here.
Just doesn't appear to be that much urgency from Uruguay. Do look to be playing with a little bit of fear.
Found its way to Forlan. Perez. Sanchez goes down. One or two hopeful glances towards the referee, but nothing doing. Christian Rodriguez.
Well, you just knew he was going to go for a penalty there. Look at that theatrics. Oh, that's one of the best I've seen. Fair play to him. Give him 10 out of 10 for... Look at that. this. This is pathetic, really, isn't it? Good referee, right on the spot. Should have booked him.
Yeah, I think more referees may be doing that. Here comes the cross in. It's helped away, back in and wide of the post, harmlessly enough, which is kind of summed up, really, Uruguay's work in this first half. They threatened to really get a hold of things for a little while, somewhere near the beginning, but gone off the boil since then, Gary?
Well, for me, it looks like they've had a full season, the players. They don't really want to be out there. That's the impression it gives me. They lost 3-0 in the first game. Looks like they want to be on holiday. They're not really getting into the tournament, and it's unprofessional.
It's Forlan. Now then, Christian Rodriguez takes on Oyas for pace, beats him for pace. The defender did make quite a good recovery.
That's what they want him to do. They want him to pick the ball up. They want him to run at defenders, commit them, especially in these conditions. If you miss time a tackle in the box, it's a pen. You know it's going to be. So it's important they get the ball to him to get him the chance to get into the box.
Christian Rodriguez's corner, and that's well claimed by the goalkeeper Sergio Galaza, who plays for Oriente. His dad was also goalkeeper for Bolivia in another era. But then Jose Mourinho's dad was a goalkeeper for Portugal, wasn't he? Was he really? Doesn't always run in the family. Be a fair few English managers and coaches, of course, looking at this tournament, wondering if there are bargains to be had, or maybe players in whom you might invest rather more money.
Why not?
Perez.
Strange you see Thierry Henry going for 16 million and the same amount paid for Darren Bent going to Tottenham Hotspur.
Dario Rodriguez going down. Yes, that has caused a bit of debate, hasn't it, around the game. I guess there's a difference in age. Might explain it. Might. That'll do Bolivia. Will be certainly happier with the current state of affairs than the continually frustrated Uruguayans. I'll be very interested to hear Mr. Poyet's verdict at half-time.
I would have thought he'd be enjoying what he's seeing at the moment. Bolivia will be absolutely delighted. It could all change in a second, of course it can. At the moment, Uruguay don't seem to have the ability to make anything happen in that final third. Rodriguez is the only one who's looked to have a spark in him at the moment.
It's a wind-strewn and soggy occasion in San Cristobal.
The humidity's still not the best out there, though.
Pablo Garcia has been a little bit disappointing thus far in the tournament, but you could say that about a few of these Uruguayan players.
Well, I think Bolivia in the last 5 minutes doing the best to get Uruguay into the game. They keep giving it away cheaply in midfield and setting Uruguay on the attack, but Uruguay just don't seem to be able to make it happen when they do get the ball back.
Of course, the key thing for all these nations as well, Gary, is they have the next round of World Cup qualifiers coming up, and it's a very long old campaign of about 18 games as well, to get in the mood and the right kind of groove of form for that important program.
You see the attitude maybe in this is not as highly regarded as qualifying for the World Cup, and they maybe say, well, you know, the World Cup qualifiers are more important, biggest tournament in world football. That's what I'm questioning, the attitude of two of the players out there.
Bakar's little ball down, doesn't find Arce, the goal-scoring hero of the other night for Bolivia.
more or less a copy of his performance in the first half the other night. Arce. He was non-existent for the first 45 minutes, came into the game the second half, got his goal.
It's got a bit scrappy here, and they're in search of some inspiration here, Uruguay, having lost badly in their first game.
Well, at the moment, their inspirational players aren't inspiring anybody.
Lugano hoists it forward, down to Forlan here. Dario Rodriguez can't get the cross in. Bolivia are defending well. They're not creating too much themselves, but hang on a minute. This looks a bit more promising with Arce on this side. Nice overhit, woefully, really. About 10 yards beyond Moreno.
That was awful. He got in a lot of space. He timed his run well. You saw him arch his run, didn't run offside, and he got a lot of time, a lot of space. And if I'd have been him, I'd have got in the box and tried to take a defender on. He took the easy option now.
Another decent crowd in, despite the rain.
Trying their best, aren't they, with the drums and the percussion to get the teams going.
Yeah, hats off to the Venezuelan public who are supporting this tournament. It's a big occasion for the nation. Arce. Moreno, danger. They couldn't quite get it back to Arce.
Why didn't he just play it across the face of the goal? He had the chance, took 2 touches too many. Lovely little bit of interplay between him and his strike partner, Arce, and deserved better.
That was as bright as Bolivia have been so far in an attacking vein anyway. Here comes the corner, which Diogo is able to clear all too easily, really. Garcia. I think the conditions are playing a part here, though, as well.
They appear to be. It's easy to blame that, though, isn't it? Well, the same for both sides. Just get on with it.
Reyes. Peña. Another caught out there, the skipper. Forlan, the brakes on here. If they're quick enough, Vicente Sanchez. Diego Forlan, and the situation is recovered by Bolivia, but the most relieved man will be the skipper.
Without a doubt. Said earlier, they're trying to encourage Uruguay into this game. They keep giving the ball away, getting a little bit too cocky on it maybe. And in these conditions, you cannot do that. Respect the conditions.
Mojica. Lima, who's come on as a substitute for the injured Ronald Garcia.
Again, that's Bolivia led a lot of the time. A lot of good build-up play, bright, and they give it away in the final third.
Little shove in the back for good measure from Vicente Sanchez, who plays his football in Mexico. Scored both times he started in the last edition of the Copa America in 2004, did Sanchez. Uruguay could do with one from him tonight.
Do one from anywhere.
Didn't want to say that bit, but you're right.
Doesn't care how it goes in, who scores it.
It's Moreno. Boyos on this side. All the way by Dario Rodriguez, the number 6, who plays for Schalke in the Bundesliga. He's pretty much a regular in the side. He played 26 games for them this season.
Just saw a ball played up to Forlan again, making him battle in the air. I was looking for his strike partner Sanchez, who was fully 30 to 40 yards away from him. You're playing those sort of balls, you have to have them playing close together.
Lima. coming up towards half-time. Scotty there with a none too impressive clearance, but he's got away with it.
It's been a stop-start first half. Niggly fouls.
Moreno wanted a free kick, he wasn't going to get it. Referee was right on the scene of the non-crime. Minute of added time. They're going to need their half-time, whatever they have in San Cristobal. What is it? That's a glass of vino, I should think. Why not?
A glass of anything. I think they've been that entertained, haven't they, in the first half, the fans?
Something warmer, maybe.
Yeah.
Or stronger. Is Vaca. As Lugano got his head to it, that means a corner kick, which will probably be the last action of the half.
All you've got to concentrate here is beat the first man, get it in an area where it puts Uruguay under pressure. Get it near the goalkeeper, see what his handling's like in the wet conditions, but don't waste it. I'm surprised it's an outswinger. Oh, we got the left foot in there to swing it under the crossbar and just see what they're made of at the back.
It's going to outswing with the right foot, obviously. We'll try something different. Alvarez. Vaca gets it back in there again. It's Pablo Garcia who got it away. Can they break quickly here? Look at Christian Rodriguez here. He's got the pace here. The goalkeeper's come out. Oh, and he's won it too. He had to win that cleanly, and that's exactly what he did. Otherwise, that could have been goal, red card, anything.
Fantastic goalkeeping. He's had nothing to do. Sweeps up, spots the danger early. Look at this. Times it to perfection, gets a toe on it, and well done him. If he gets it wrong, he's off, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, I think any defender would have been proud of that challenge. It was perfectly timed, and it had to be. Whether the goalkeeper's right to dash out like that, Galaza, but it worked for him. And a bit of argy-bargy going on with the officials. The referee has blown his whistle for half-time. That little bit of drama was the last action of the half. Still frustration for Uruguay in this tournament as Bolivia are holding them 0-0 at half-time here.
Galaza to the rescue, and how they needed it. Right at the end, although Uruguay have failed to impress so far. Much work for them to do. Sunshine and goals galore. It's a 0-0 bore. We'll analyse it in a moment. Gus Poyet and Ray Wilkins with us. Make sure you join us. We'll try and deconstruct that first half. Not too much to talk about, goals-wise, but tactically, well, Gus will sort us out. Join us after the break.
Next season, Sky Sports will bring you more Premiership games than ever before. 92 matches, including the big head-to-heads. All live, only on Sky Sports. Plus, football first. Sensational! And no more pay-per-view games. We've got the FA Cup, Carling Cup, Scottish Cup, Spanish League, and Football League. 70 games from all divisions, plus the playoffs. The best of the Champions League, with more live games than anyone else. Internationals from England, Scotland, Wales, and the Republic of Ireland. Sky Sports, a new season, and all the football you'll ever need.
2 pints of lager and a strongbow, please. Crisps anyone? Oh yeah, nice. Yep.
Strongbow. Total first pint refreshment.
Petrol at Tesco. Spend £50 at the tills and we'll give you 5p off every litre at the pumps. Fair enough, really. You help us keep going, so we help you keep going. Tesco. Every little helps.
It's ready.
Introducing Gillette Fusion Hydrogel. Fusion's hydrating emollients and lubricants form an invisible layer that protects your skin from the first stroke to the last, adding comfort to your shave. New Gillette Fusion Hydrogel.
After thousands of miles, many of the wildebeest have died of dehydration. But finally, they reach their destination, the watering hole.
Oh, I'm waiting for this.
What is this? We've come all the way across Africa to drink this muck? Oh yeah, brilliant. Couldn't get any worse. Oh no, it could apparently.
For people who don't like water, there's the chuggable fruitiness of Oasis.
This is exactly what happened to Alan last year. Ow.
New Starburst choosers, the choose that ooze.
I tell you what, that Collins would laugh. He's just had 2 kebabs. What's the matter?
I lost the folder. All the photographs, all the old film with the kids on it, everything from when they were babies.
Well, why don't we make another one?
Yeah, we'll just make another folder. It's all backed up.
Only BT Total Broadband comes with 6 months free Digital Vault, which automatically backs up your PC's precious files and photos. To get a more complete broadband package, call 0800 317 316.
Gli occhi tuoi belli brillano, fiamme di sogno scintillano. Cut!
Dolce & Gabbana, light blue, warm.
Introducing Sharpie Moments. Let's put you down.
More live action tomorrow on Sky Sports. England against West Indies from Lords. It's the first one-day international between the two. 10:30, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1 for that. Golf-wise, it's the Open de France. 11 o'clock, Sky Sports 2. And the America's Cup sailing, coming towards a very exciting climax. 1:30, Sky Sports 3 for that. We're watching Uruguay against Bolivia. Neither of these sides have won so far. They're not on course to do likewise tonight. 0-0. It's been wonderful so far, the Copa America, but it's all gone wrong all of a sudden.
Not because of Uruguay.
Of course not. Gus Poyet, former Uruguay international, Ray Wilkins with us. A change of formation tonight for Uruguay. We were concerned about it, at least you were beforehand. What do you make of that first half?
Well, they changed it, but it didn't work at all. A little bit disappointed with the way that Uruguay, started the game, especially because I was expecting them to, be in control of the game. Or not, I'm saying, totally disappointed. And on top of that, you can see a little bit of nervous already because we made a couple of bad tackles, 2 yellow cards, no chances. So I can see Recoba coming in soon, very soon, and maybe another striker later, so we'll see what happens.
One of South America's big hitters, Uruguay, of course. Not national humiliation, but the 3-0 defeat to Peru was pretty poor by their standards.
Yeah.
What concerns you most, Ray? Perhaps the lack of fight that we've seen tonight in that first half?
Not so much a lack of fight, Mark, but in possession of the ball, you expect them
to pass the ball. And in Scotty, the young man they brought in at the back, all he wants to do is play the ball long. Now, it's raining, it's very, very windy, so you have to accommodate the conditions as well. You've got to play shorter. And the Uruguayan boys have got small guys up front, and all Scotty's doing is putting it up on the heads of the central defenders, and they're coming through forehand and losing possession of the ball. They've got to shorten their game up and move the ball a lot quicker. If they shorten it up and move it quicker, because it would be pointless bringing Recoba on if they're going to employ the same tactics, because he's not going to have a prayer. He needs it into his feet, where he can twist and turn people. But if they continue in the same vein, if you look at the Bolivians, all the football that has been played really has been played a little short into passing by the Bolivian boys, and nothing really from Uruguay. So they have to shorten their game up.
The best chance of the half, right at the death with, what, seconds to go in injury time. Galarza, the goalkeeper, saved Bolivia. It's 0-0, but it could be different. But should they have done better in this instance?
Well, it's right at the end. I'm thinking, you know, it was a break. Very well done from Christian Rodriguez, who we say is quick and is powerful, but maybe missed fraction of second because the goalkeeper did very, very well. Yeah? Imagine the difference between going past or not, the goalkeeper.
Absolutely, Gus.
So he's not at fault there for you, Pereira. He's done what he can.
Well, I was thinking, when I saw Galarza coming out, I thought, what on earth is he doing coming out there? You know, let the defenders deal with that situation. But it was a fantastic tackle.
How concerned are you at half-time?
I think it
speechless.
No, it can be worse. I'm saying it has to be better.
Yeah,
I think for the manager now, why you can say to the dressing room now, make a change and say, boys, we can't. No, it's impossible to play worse than this. We cannot be as bad as we've been doing in the Copa America so far. So go there and put a performance in front of the people there.
Don't worry too much, Gus. They're unbeaten in the last 5 against Bolivia. But, well,
it's not enough. 0-0 is not enough for us.
You look a worried man to you. We'll get a cup of tea in the break.
Okay.
I think he needs one. Join us for the second half. Hopefully it'll improve all round. It's soaking wet in San Cristobal, and the football so far, well, it's a bit of a damp squib, hasn't it? Don't forget to stay with us. Later on, Peru can qualify, of course, for the next stage with a win. Venezuela, they take on the hosts here in San Cristobal. That's later on Sky Sports 1. Tomorrow, back to Group B, Brazil. Terrible start for them. Defeat against Mexico. Can they put it right against Chile? Join the team for that at 9. It's followed by Mexico themselves up against Ecuador. It's Uruguay against Bolivia and 0-0 at half-time. Uruguay, who beaten in their first game, well, humiliated by Peru, 3-0. They were going to put it right tonight. That was the script, at least. It hasn't gone their way. What can they do at half-time to change things around, Gus? They have options on the bench.
Yeah, good options. Recoba is probably the best one. You know, he can go there, get the ball, start passing around, have a few shots. We didn't have a shot.
No.
On target.
No, that's right, I guess.
You can't win if you don't. Have a shot, yeah.
Recoba's fit, and he's a man with plenty of experience, a good guy. Someone you were talking during the break about the lack of intelligence used in the circumstances, what were the conditions tonight. He's the kind of guy you'd want to bring in these circumstances. Well,
I think he would dictate that they actually pass the ball, Mark. I think that's the thing. I think you've got to have someone out there that will actually say to him, well, hang on a second, stop booting this thing long in the air because it's windy and it's rainy. Let's put it on the floor and start playing, because it'd be a waste of time bringing him on if you're going to boot it up in the air. So get it on the floor and let's pass the ball.
Do you see a role for Stoyanov as well tonight? He was taken out of the team.
Yeah, maybe. I think that would be more at the end. It's depending if we are really struggling and we need to score, you know. And maybe, you would put Abreu in the middle up front and, go into the box and trying to score from there. But I think Recoba is going to be the first if he's fit enough to play.
It's like a day at Alton Towers, isn't it, when those plastic mats come out? It always happens whenever I go there.
Everyone waiting for Venezuela.
You told us it never rains in South America, Gus. You said it was a holiday haven.
It rains, but it's still 40 degrees, Mark. It's a bit different here, isn't it? It rains and it's -5.
Yeah, it's a long way from Staffordshire, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's raining for the first time, and, well, it's the first time we've had a 0-0 if it stays this way. An average of 4 goals a game so far from the opening 6 games in the Copa America 2007, but it's 0-0 at half-time. Not spoiling the party, though. Look like Peru fans waiting for their side to come up next. Back to this one, 0-0 half-time, Bolivia, Uruguay. Commentary team, Gary Birtles with Ian Dunn.
Yeah, thanks a lot, fellas. It can only improve. I think that's an honest assessment. I think it never rains in Southern California. That's the song, isn't it? But I think it's stopped raining here now. Referee Mr. Toledo has been out there for about 6 minutes with his officials waiting for the teams.
Well, the Uruguay not want to come out.
Well, Bolivia can move on to 2 points. They'll make it 2 draws. Uruguay, long half-time team talk, but can they pep things up? How do they do it? I mean, you weren't happy with their attitude, really, were you, Gary,
No.
in that first half?
No, after getting beat 3-0 in the first game, they didn't show enough for me that they were trying to get back into this tournament. I may be wrong, but it just, not everybody, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 players, you think, well, they didn't really want to be there for me. You know, the conditions might have put them off, the rain, and it's been a long, hard season. They'd rather be on the holidays, World Cup qualifiers coming up. If there's a tournament there to play, you go and put your all in, and I don't think a lot of them are doing that.
Well, let's see what happens in this second half. Still time. And Uruguay getting us underway at the start of the second half here in San Cristobal. Conditions a little kinder as Christian Rodriguez tries to weave his magic. I suppose if anyone was exempt from a little criticism in that first half, it might have been him.
At least he was trying to make things happen. He was being direct. He was trying to commit defenders. I think Ray picked up on it as well. The service of the front two was particularly poor.
Here's Christian Rodriguez again. Decent defending again from the Bolivians, and Ronald Valdez in particular. Recalled to the colours, Valdez, after being something of a flop in the World Cup qualifiers. This is Dario Rodriguez. Gets away his left foot cross, but it's not a good one.
To have been in the Uruguay dressing room without a doubt at half-time. Harsh words needed saying. Not been a shot on target from either team. Sums the game up at the moment.
Well, Bolivia were expected to be the chopping blocks, really, in this group. Hasn't quite turned out like that. They've been a rather tough nut to crack so far, anyway. This is Arce.
If they do get it right, Bolivia, which we've seen they can do with that man in your picture, I'll say, they could get something out of this game, because Moreno's got bags of experience. Just create something through the midfield. Uruguay could struggle.
Say the Montevidean newspapers tomorrow morning might not make happy reading for Oscar Tabarez unless they can come up with something a bit extra here. But it's Bolivia threatening with Arce. It's a good challenge from Lugano. He had to be alert then, and he was.
Well, lack of concentration. Come out second half and just switched off again there, Uruguay. It was just a bad first touch by Arce that let him down.
Showed the other night that they've got a goal in them as well, Bolivia. Vaca putting it back, and there was danger there, and it was Valdez who was arriving from the back who got hold of that.
Well, again, lack of professionalism. Nobody picked up. Attacked it well, free strike, just didn't hit the target. Whipped in with pace, and you look for a blue shirt looking to pick up. Nobody near him whatsoever. Just couldn't wrap his leg around it.
Chance, wasn't it?
It was a chance. Just lost his foot in a little bit.
Not an easy one, but a chance nonetheless. Bolivia might be reflecting it possibly fell to the wrong man, central defender.
Yeah, just about to say exactly the same. It would have been Moreno. Would have seen a different outcome.
Lugano with another long ball out of defence. There have been plenty of those, as Ray and Gus were saying at half-time. Maybe a few too many.
Niggly, little foul early in the game. We saw so many of those in the first half. Forlan will fight for those sort of long balls, but it's not what he favours. And if he is going to fight for them, he needs his strike partner close to him, not 30 yards away.
Christian Rodriguez with the free kick.
When they get the chance to put Bolivia under pressure, they don't do it. The free kick there didn't beat the first man.
How long before the Uruguayans think of introducing one of their most famous players of the modern era, Alvaro Recoba of Inter?
Might have had him on now, without a doubt. What I saw in the first half as a coach, not acceptable.
Down goes Christian Rodriguez with the most, well, ridiculous dive.
Well, I used the word pathetic in the first half, and that was similar.
Lugano plays for Fenerbahce, by the way, in Turkey. And Pablo Garcia hops it on. Forlan with a little 1-2. Good so far. Where can they take this? Pablo Garcia again. Need him to be more of an influence further forward, perhaps. Into the danger area. Near post, Forlan was thinking of attacking that area, but didn't quite get there.
Well, it's shot off the surface straight to Galata again. The build-up was good there. It was bright. It's the brightest we've seen Uruguay. And then they just wanted to throw the ball in the box rather than be a little bit more patient.
So Lima, the substitute, with an errant ball in midfield, picked up by Pablo Garcia. Can they get this extra tempo and drive about their work? And that's scooped way over the top.
Up deep, he's turned and he's gone at defenders. Finished article was poor, as I said, but at least he's trying to do the right things, and that can lift your teammates. It can, that little spark that you need, even though it's gone way over the bar. He's trying to do the right thing.
One of the things we're seeing in this championship so far is that nobody can take anything really for granted. What about, you know, Brazil being turned over by Mexico?
Yeah, without a doubt, Argentina came good in the end. They were 1-0 down to the USA. So the Ecuador-Chile game, that all seemed nicely wrapped up until the last 10 minutes and changed round.
No gimmies. Got to work for it. That's exactly what Uruguay are trying to do here with Diogo. It's a poor ball, and it gives Bolivia the chance maybe to break with Vaca trying to engineer something, and he was trying to buy the shirt off him then.
He spotted the danger. Got away, got a bit of space there, Vaca, but didn't see enough in front of him.
Moreno.
This is where we see Bolivia fall down again. They just give it away too easily. Careful enough with the passes.
Coached by Erwin Sanchez, the attacking midfielder who was a star of the 1994 World Cup team. That's a miscue. Christian Rodriguez, half a chance, bundled off it by Raldez. They want a penalty here to Uruguay.
Well, it looked like the old-fashioned shoulder charge, didn't it? His first touch wasn't bad. Barges into him, and you can't do that. You've seen those given penalties. That's a penalty.
Yeah, that's not a shoulder charge,
no,
is it?
He's digged him in the ribs. And he's given a corner. Taking the easy option. I think he was a long way away from him. That's possibly why he didn't give the penalty.
Well, it may be he made it look enough like a shoulder charge to have got away with it.
And maybe the referee's seen enough diving.
Bouncing around dangerously. Bolivia just lost their defensive composure for a moment there, though, and Raldez can count himself a bit lucky. I think he was probably heart in mouth.
I think so, and I think maybe the reason, again, the referee didn't give it. We saw so many theatrics in the first half that were clearly poor that he may have thought it was again a dive.
Bolivia think that's a corner. They might have a point as well. Vaca making the break from midfield. Good-looking break too. Perez. A bit short of pace in central midfield areas, Uruguay. Possibly Pablo Garcia, Perez, and then what do you think?
Yeah, they look a bit cumbersome at times. They need somebody breaking from that midfield just to go past the strikers. Somebody to take responsibility.
Real old argy-bargy there, involving Peña, the Bolivian captain, with Sanchez. Neither on each other's Christmas card list, I suspect, this year. Probably weren't anyway.
Well, strikers in centre half don't do these sort of things, do they?
I don't know, you tell me, Gary.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Christian Rodriguez. Okay. Bolivia, tough to break down. Well, Uruguay are finding it anyway. The host scored twice against them the other night. But Uruguay with a player down here, and looks like, is that Christian Rodriguez on the floor?
Checked inside after the foul again. They weren't happy with the referee at the end of the first half. They don't want to let it get out of hand. Heads together there.
I was going to say, we haven't really seen a good old-fashioned South American style dust-up so far, but I think tempers are getting a little frayed, and I think they're frayed because the Uruguayans are just very, very frustrated with the way things are going for them.
Well, I think they were convinced at the end of the first half that Gallarza had committed a foul. Well, we could see perfectly well that he timed the tackle to perfection.
Yeah.
Because the man stayed down, they thought should have been a red card, and now Rodriguez has gone down again, and the referee's not given it. It's a crunching tackle by the captain, but I think the referee's right again. He's committed to the ball, and again, Uruguay think they should have got something out of it. I'm not happy with the referee. Definitely feel that there could be a sending off in this game with the way frustration is going at the moment.
Uruguay going to take off Diogo, who's on a yellow card. Don't know if that's part of the thinking. Yeah. And they're going to bring on Ignacio Gonzalez, a midfield player who scored 36 goals in the last 2 seasons.
I'm sure that will baffle the Uruguayan fans as well. They'd have been expecting a different substitution. Copa or Stoyanov.
Gonzalez scored 23 goals in the 2006-2007 campaign in Uruguay. So he can certainly come up with something, which is the general idea of putting him on, I guess.
Still waiting for a shot on target.
That's the almost unemployed Carini, and unemployed to what he's been at Inter Milan as well. No appearances at all for them last season, and has become the number 4 goalkeeper there, Fabian Carini. So he would be excused a bit of rust.
Great job if he can get it, isn't it? Falls in line.
Mojica,
who's been very quiet, nullified the threat of him. Again, just runs into a blind alley.
It was the substitute, Gonzalez. Still trying to look philosophical about it, Oscar Tabarez, but inside, I would think he must be quietly seething. This is Perez. He's done well. Towards Forlan, can he get there? Yes, they've scored! And it's Sanchez who's put it in the back of the net. At last, a breakthrough for Uruguay, and Vicente Sanchez is the man to do it.
Well, at last they've got a ball in the box that's caused Bolivia a bit of a problem. They've worked it well. A long crossfield ball started it all off. Bolivia didn't defend it particularly well, but the relief in that man there must be absolutely immense. Just gets half a yard, puts it in the right area. Don't particularly defend it well. 2 defenders miss it totally. Get a bit of luck, bounces down, and he's there to pound Sanchez. See it come there, just a touch by Forlan, and goalkeeper no chance, just a toe poke in under his body. But that's what he's paid to do. Predator, gets in the right area, gets his just rewards.
Really good work by Diego Perez in setting that up on the right-hand side as well. Uruguay, all of Uruguay, breathes a sigh of relief.
See if that releases the shackles now, or do they go defensive? Try and hang on to this 1-0.
Certainly the game needed it.
Without a doubt. But one thing Bolivia don't do is they don't give up. They don't feel sorry for themselves. They carry on and they try and get back in the game. They showed it against Venezuela.
Raldez. Now then, Bolivia have to take a slightly more cavalier approach to things. Moreno. Hoyos on this side. Good looking ball in. And well covered by the Uruguayan defenders. Suddenly it looks a little bit different for Uruguay, and that might put an extra spring in the step. Christian Rodriguez into Diego Forlan. Now, of course, of Atletico Madrid. Rodriguez again. Cut out by Peña, but worth remembering that Bolivia twice came from behind to get a point against Venezuela in their first game in this tournament. It was a very sloppy ball indeed by Lima. Forlan saw the goalkeeper just off his line, and, well, he grabs it in the end.
Good vision there by Forlan, nearly caught Alzara napping, but that's what Bolivia, again, do a lot of. They give it away sloppily in midfield. Once they sort that out and more positive with it, taking chances, that they will progress.
Here's Lima. Vaca. Hoyos on this side. Rather too easily losing possession to the very hard-working Christian Rodriguez, who's merited his recall to the side here. Came on the other day and was quite bright against Peru. Didn't do Uruguay any good that night, but, well, so far, after a very, very frustrating opening 58 minutes or so, they've got the goal that changes the complexion of things.
Lovely ball in there, just puts it in the right slot. Get a bit of luck here, just knocks it down. Didn't really know that his teammate was there, but he gambled and he got his bit of luck there, Sanchez.
His fourth international goal, that, by the way, for Uruguay, and this is 20th appearance. He's got over 70 goals playing for Toluca in Mexico. Uruguay get another free kick.
Love to see the free kick count. There's been so many of them in this game.
Sanchez, the goal scorer, the player down. Really a question now, Gary, of what can Bolivia do about this? Can they find the punch, the threat from anywhere? Will they leave too many gaps behind them doing it?
Well, they don't go gung-ho. They still seem organised when they're doing it. But the one thing that's been negative for them tonight is Mojica has not been at the races at all. He's not been on the ball enough. He was the one man who was probing to get them back into the game.
Pablo Garcia, another disappointing free kick, then the volley that follows it off target as well.
I've seen great technique in this tournament so far, but 3 free kicks from Uruguay have been particularly poor. Follow up, just trying to smash it in the roof of the net, trying to get too much power on it.
59th cap tonight for the central midfielder. Alvarez for Bolivia. It's got to be a free kick, really. Perez's challenge. Perez is the man who has opened up Bolivia with that good run down the right-hand side, which led to the goal. Hoyos. Piece of cake, really, for Carini. Gonzalez with the clever little ball to Forlan. Looks like he's relishing getting his chance. Out there, Ignacio Gonzalez, the midfield player. Chance to state his case with big campaigns to come, of course.
You can see the huge weight that's been lifted off their shoulders, Uruguay. Since the goal went in, they've looked a different side, a little more bright, keeping the ball a little bit better than they were doing.
Ignacio Gonzalez finds Forlan again. It's poor ball really from the talismanic striker for the Uruguayans, who's been in decent form again this last season for Villarreal. $19 goals in La Liga last season to follow the 25 the year before.
It's an excellent return from a player who clearly, when he was in England, you could see the glimpses of his ability. He knew he'd got it in him once it all started going right for him. Unfortunately, not at United, but once he got into Spain, what a player he looked.
Hoyos for Bolivia. Arce. Vaca. That's Hoyos again. They're trying to pen Uruguay back here again. The quality of the ball is not quite what they'll be looking for. And always there'll be the chance of something on the counter for the Uruguayans now. Perez again. Nice football. Christian Rodriguez.
It's amazing how everybody wants it now, isn't it, in a blue shirt? 0-0, pressure on you. Everybody wanted the ball now. Suddenly 1-0 up. Well, let's have a few back heel flicks and let's have the ball at feet. And it's a lot easier the game when you're going from.
Confidence is a wonderful thing.
And lack of it is not a good thing at all.
Raldez gets it away. Mojica helps it on. Arce.
Moreno's not been the influence he was in the first game. Uruguay have allowed him to dictate in any part of the final third.
Yeah, they just may have to gamble a little more than they are doing, Bolivia. Lost his footing with Christian Rodriguez there.
Still over 20 minutes. I think they'd settle for a point. I feel going into the last game against Peru that they can qualify.
Here's Lima. Alvarez on this side. Moreno wants it and gets it. Good change of pace from Jaime Moreno there.
Good tracking back as well. Good strength.
Might have been a hand in there from Moreno. It's Uruguay's ball. Looks like the form book's going to be obeyed. Here's the goal again.
Forlan didn't really mean to do that. Just gets a touch on it, and good for Sanchez getting in there. Strikers have to gamble, and he certainly did that.
Goal scorer's goal, wasn't it, really?
Oh, without a doubt.
Forlan, nicely done. Sanchez. Certainly having a brighter game this evening than he did against Peru, where he was withdrawn early, as we were saying, in the first half.
Possibly 10 outfield players could have been withdrawn in that particular game, couldn't they?
By the end, I'm sure that's what they were thinking. Last game for Uruguay in this group is against the host nation, Venezuela, but if it stays like this, they will have 3 points safely in the bank. All the time it's 1, though. Bolivia will live in hope. Peña.
So comfortable at the back, aren't they? That's what I like about this standard of football. South Americans, at the back four, they're all comfortable. They want the ball, they'll pass the ball, they'll bring it out as a centre half.
Moreno, Mojica. And nothing doing. Of course, we've seen over long periods of time how defensively adept Uruguayan sides can be. They weren't against Peru, to be honest with you, but historically they have been. Remember, it was Uruguay who drew with England in the first game of the 1966 World Cup. An arid affair at Wembley, as I recall.
What they have done, they've done the basics reasonably well, Uruguay. They've closed down, they've stopped Bolivia playing, key players playing, Mojica in particular.
Hoyos, chance to shoot. Muscled out of it fairly by the look of it as well.
He get forward well. His first touch was good, and the timing of the tackle was tremendous because he was just about to let fly. Look, just about to have a go, and again had to time that tackle to perfection.
Good covering back, having nosed in front. It would be an absolute nightmare for Uruguay if they were to let it go.
You see what I mean about Bolivia? They don't give it up.
Reyes is coming off to be replaced by another Peña, Darwin Peña. That's safely over the top and no problem.
That was wasteful, very wasteful. They just needed to put that in the right area, across the face of the goal. There were green shirts in there.
He was trying to be the glory boy with his first touch, wasn't he, there?
Yeah, he certainly was. Not what was needed in that situation at all.
Christian Rodriguez again. Amazing how few attempts on goal we've seen from Diego Forlan in this tournament so far. This is a bit of a mark man. There's going to be a yellow card here. It's Peña, the skipper, who goes in the book.
Terrific direct run. Ghosted past three players and finally gets hacked down by the captain.
Struggling a little bit as well. Juan Manuel Peña, 34 years of age now. Player who spent the last decade of his career in Spain, picking up 5 red cards along the way.
Possibly see why there with that tackle.
That's only 9.5 yards, says the referee.
I bet you $1 when it's hit, it'll be about 6.
Forlan hit it. Did it deflect on the way through? Yep, he did. Looked like it. Christian Rodriguez, looked like a push there on one of the defenders, and indeed the free kick is given.
Clear push right from the referee.
Well, they're getting the job done, Uruguay now, but without hitting any great heights. Maybe it'll be one of those teams in the tournament, they'll get better as it goes on. Maybe.
You'd like to think so.
Don't forget, later on, live from this group, we have the host nation. There'll be a great atmosphere for that. Venezuela playing Peru. Venezuela looking for a win. They only got a point from their first game against Bolivia when they were looking for 3. Peru, top of the group. "16 minutes remaining here for Bolivia to rescue this. 16 minutes, maybe, for the Uruguayans to make things safe. Sanchez again. Good work. Good covering from Lima.
This is much brighter from Uruguay. This is what we expected from the start of the game. Didn't happen, but now the nose is in front and they're looking like the team we knew they could be.
See how blowy it is down there, the shirts of the players billowing. Look at the corner flag. It has been a factor, I think, here. If this game has lacked the fluency we've seen in some of the other matches. That under soggy old slowish surface. Yellow card for Lima.
As he goes through the back of him, his trailing leg drags him down. No argument about that. You can hear the gusts of wind blowing across that pitch. It does make it difficult.
Yes, it's howling.
Well, the corner flag is bent.
Yeah,
right the way down.
It's almost blowing over now.
And the rain doesn't help, but you have to get accustomed to pitches like that. Adjust. These are world-class players.
Pablo Garcia's left foot's favourite here, although Ignacio Gonzalez wants a crack, you sense. Straining at the leash. It is Pablo Garcia, the senior man, got through as well. And luckily it was right down the goalkeeper's throat.
Not the best of walls, was it? It went straight through. They broke it up there, big gap appeared, and luckily it went straight at the goalkeeper.
Yes, it was hardly an impregnable wall that Bolivia produced there. I mean, to be absolutely honest about it, the Bolivians have rarely existed as an attacking threat in this game. Not even when they've gone behind.
Well, Moreno had that one chance just before half-time where he got to the byline and took touches too many. Could have put the ball across the face of the goal, but apart from that, nothing's really happened for them. I think because Uruguay have targeted the key players for them and just snuffed them out.
Perez playing it down the line, but it's gone out of play. Uruguay, who found themselves upstaged by Ecuador and Paraguay, who qualified for the World Cup alongside the old favourites Brazil and Argentina. Erwin Sanchez, the man who's hoping that he can work the trick for Bolivia. Interestingly, Sanchez was appointed while he was still serving a ban for hitting a referee as a player. He was brought out of the ban and became the coach of the national side.
See that very often, do you?
If at all. Forlan with a little dummy, but Mojica says it's been a little disappointing tonight. Mojica hasn't really been able to pull any strings in that midfield for the Bolivians, and they certainly need some strings pulling now because it's getting late.
Yeah, the front two have nothing to feed off at all. Moreno and Arce. Trying to play through the middle of Uruguay and not getting it wide and trying to get behind them.
Just need one moment. But there's an extra strength and confidence about Uruguay now, who've kind of taken control of this. Pena got there just ahead of Sanchez, but he's recovered well, the striker. Back here to Perez, who set up the first goal. Sanchez once more. Curling to the back post, just too far ahead of Forlan, but the idea was good.
It was good, and he got a good position there, Forlan, just away from his marker. There's too much pace on the cross.
Just can't keep the ball at the moment, Bolivia.
No, it's proving to be difficult for them. I think it's because they're being closed down so quickly by Uruguay.
Offside there. Perhaps a little surprisingly. Of course, the crowd gathering, waiting to see the host nation as well. Don't forget, we'll have that one coming up for you as well. Venezuela, Peru. Game's getting a bit edgy now. Mojica again, nothing doing. Can the Bolivians make some kind of change which might help things a little for them. They're not playing with any real belief. They don't look as if they believe they can get back in the game.
Totally different to the Venezuela game, because they look totally convinced they could get back in the game. Maybe they think, well, it's Uruguay. They kept us at bay. They're very strong at the back. Very rarely been able to get behind them and cause them a problem. Or just they think, well, we can beat Peru in the last game and we can still get something out of this group.
So Stoyanov is being prepared for action by Coach Tavares. El Maestro, they call the coach. It might not have been the headline tomorrow morning in the papers if Uruguay hadn't won this. They still haven't won it, by the way.
Trying to track back and do the right thing. This time his tackle and chance to put them under a little bit of pressure here.
Yep, this could be a moment. Mojica lays it sideways to Darwin Peña, the substitute. Here he is again. Clever little ball, nicely done. The idea was there, but Lugano was covering every blade of grass, as is his wont.
Again, it's just that little bit of spot they need in and around the box that hasn't been there tonight, Bolivia.
Perez has done well since they moved him out wide right in the second half.
It's given them an outlet, hasn't it? It was a bit narrow in the first half.
Hoyos. Still got it. Just one little moment of invention is what they need, but the flag is up there. Frustration again for Bolivia. Diego Forlan's races run for the day. And he'll be back. And on comes the man who has dropped from the starting lineup for this game, Fabian Stoyanov of Deportivo La Coruña, winning his 31st cap. Who scored the winner when Uruguay played Northern Ireland in the United States last year.
It's only surprised to see Forlan going off. He's produced in the 2 games at all. Very out of sorts. Maybe transfer might be on his mind.
It's a bit disruptive for a player, I would think. Here is Stoyanov. And his new employers, Atletico Madrid, won't want him getting injured here, will they? They're getting a lot of hassle from the fans about selling Torres, aren't they, to Liverpool?
Yeah, he's a big loss to them, Torres. Fine player.
Stoyanov skips it up towards his skipper Lugano. Here's Sanchez again. Well, it was a good opportunity, really. He had time and space.
He was totally off balance when he hit that.
Pereira, who's gone back to right back in this second half. Mojica. Good ball. Hoyos. Oh! It was into the right kind of area.
It's the first time Mojica's been involved. Decent ball, skinny ball across the face of the goal, but good handling.
Substitute Cabrera was the player who closed in on that. It's been introduced by the Bolivians. Oh, it's Christian Rodriguez. Set it up well, but it whistles comfortably wide in the end.
I think he has been the catalyst for Uruguay. He's the one who's lifted the spirits, not by anything that he's hit the target with, just by his attitude and his want to take the ball forward and commit defenders.
It's just Just giving them a little extra dimension here and there. Ball around the corner for Arce to chase. Corner given away by Dario Rodriguez. They still can't breathe easily, Uruguay. We're inside the last 6 minutes now. What a turn-up it would be if Bolivia were to steal an equaliser. Mojica. It's going to be another one.
Oh, a delivery like that. If you're going to deliver like that, you have to get a green shirt to the near post, and there's no green shirt anywhere near the near post.
Sort of Teddy Sheringham style if you're going to put it in there, but it's a better one. We've got to throw players forward now, Bolivia.
They might be looking at the goal difference, maybe saying, well, 1-0 against Uruguay won't be so bad if we can win the last game.
Yeah, it's quite a big if, though, isn't it?
It is.
Peru.
Nobody expected Peru to hammer Uruguay.
Vicente Sanchez offside rather carelessly, Stoyanov. He's coming back and became active as the ball arrived at his feet.
Well, again, we see Bolivia give it away cheaply.
Christian Rodriguez looking for the 1-2. Goalkeeper comes for it and eventually gets it.
Good honest endeavour from the goalkeeper and from Rodriguez.
It's Moreno in his own half. They need him further forward than that, really. At this stage, somewhere in front of goal would do.
Look at that again, it's sloppy. That's what they've been guilty of. They got away with it in the first game, but so far in this one they haven't.
In the end, Uruguay have deserved this if they do hold on.
Second half, they upped the tempo. They look brighter. It still looked a bit sluggish till the goal went in. I'm sure the coach still won't be happy with the performance. If they are to go further, he knows they've got to improve it greatly.
Well, he was reminding everybody that they lost their first game in 1989, Copa America, when he was the coach. Got to the final in the end and finished runners-up in the tournament. So maybe there'll be a repeat of that. Moreno feeds it inside to Darwin Peña. And again, Uruguay comfortably snuff out the danger.
You could see the panic when the ball came to the substitute there. He got a lot of time, a lot of space, and he just panicked a little bit, and his touch let him down.
Lima helps it on to Mojica. Moreno. Hoyos. Alvarez. Darwin Peña, a lot of green shirts in the middle here. Can they produce a moment of danger? It's good defending by Lugano, I think it was, who got his head to it. The skipper.
He's had a particularly good game at the back, led by example. We've seen in the last couple of minutes that Bolivia again won't give up until that final whistle goes. They'll keep going. They'll play the way they've been playing in the two games, which is trying to pass, probe in midfield. It's just that Uruguay have defended it well.
It's just been a little bit of a lack of devil about Bolivia today. How clever that is by Stoyanov. A welcome cameo. And Raldez did well, the defender. It's not a game when you look back on it, I don't think, where the DVD is going to go into the Hot 100 or anything like that, but Uruguay are not going to concern themselves with that as long as they win.
They'll just see it as job done if they win the game.
Stoyanov wants a crack, has a crack. Goalkeeper's got it.
He was going wide, but you can't take a chance. Goes through. It is going wide.
Bolivia's cause is a moment of desperation now. Arce. Darwin Peña. Oh, that's wasteful. It really is a poor effort.
Saw a chance for glory, didn't he?
Another change coming up here, possibly just to wind down the clock a little from Uruguay. Going to bring on Walter Gargano from Danubio. And off comes Christian Rodriguez, who'd certainly be a candidate for man of the match here.
Yeah, second half performance. I think he lifted his teammates into the spirits.
Last minute, moving into stoppage time. How much of that is there going to be? 3 minutes. There's the answer. Thank you, sir.
3 nervous minutes for Uruguay.
It's almost like he was listening to us, wasn't it? Good hearing. Arce has kept it in play on that far side.
Well done.
Gets the corner. Good work. Maybe Bolivia's last chance.
Give him credit there. I'll say stuck to his task well. Didn't allow it to go out of play.
He's telling them, get in there, all of you. Away by Perez, wasn't it?
They're probably saying, well, we'll get in there, but you put the quality in for us. Again, it's just poor from us. A set piece.
Lima won it back importantly there for his side. Darwin Pena to Jaime Moreno. Can the old soldier come up with something? Oh, it's a great effort and a very, very fine save indeed. Well, Lima really let fly and this was on its way.
You've got to give Carini great credit. He's hardly had a thing to do and he sprung to his right and palmed it round the post.
Sancho Lima very nearly pulled an equaliser right out of the fire in the most dramatic way there. Cracking shot. And yeah, all credit, as you say, Gary, to the goalkeeper, who's been a spectator, really.
It's a decent strike as well, clean.
Cabrera. Even Pena's come forward.
He was asleep there, wasn't he?
It's a nosebleed that far up the pitch, doesn't he?
He's allowed the pressure to be taken off.
Stoyanov just runs into a cul-de-sac. Bolivia have got it back again. A little naive, possibly, by the Uruguayan player. Arce trying to make the run. They're nearly there. Uruguay, it's not been pretty. But 3 points is 3 points. And they can move it on from there, they hope. Unless Bolivia have something. Not like that, they won't get it. Stoyanov. Sanchez. Gonzalez. Lima it was who cut it out. A man who very, very nearly equalised for Bolivia in stoppage time. He must have thought that was on its way when he left his boot.
I'm sure he did. Terrific strike.
Hoyos plays this one in. It's going a long way. It's equaliser. Oh! Another fine save from the goalkeeper. Goodness me, they've created more in the stoppage time than the rest of the match put together. And there goes the final whistle.
Great goalkeeping there. Comes out, does ever so well.
Mojica it was who was denied by the keeper, who made 2 saves right at the death. Uruguay pressure off. They've got their first win thanks to that goal from Vicente Sanchez. A couple of scares at the end, but Uruguay win 1-0.
Fabian Carini to the rescue. My word, they needed him at the end. If only you could have seen Gus Poyet's face. That's how Group A stands then. Game to come, of course, is Venezuela against Peru. But it all looks so much better for Uruguay now, doesn't it? Stay with us for that one. Peru can go back top, of course. They'll qualify with a win again. Venezuela, the host, their opposition next here on Sky Sports 1. Then tomorrow we're back into Group B. Brazil looking to put that horror show, their opening game defeat against Mexico behind them. They face Chile. Mexico against Ecuador is the late game. It all starts at 9 on Sky Sports 1 tomorrow. Gus, you may exhale. You managed to pull it off. Don't say a word. We'll speak to you in just a moment. Gus Poyet, Ray Wilkins, our guests. Stay with us for the analysis from that game and then look forward to the next one. It's Peru against the hosts, Venezuela, next up here on Sky Sports 1.